So about a week ago now, I made a video about how GTA 5's story would have played out if in the mission called Bury the Hatchet, Michael killed Trevor. And since the overall reception of that video was pretty positive, I figured I should make the opposite scenario in this situation. So let's dive into it. How would the story of GTA 5 play out if Trevor killed Michael in Bury the Hatchet? So at the Ludendorff Cemetery in the middle of the night, Michael and Trevor stand on opposite sides of Brad's grave, guns pointed at each other. And in this version, unlike in the original, Trevor's gun would work. And just as the Chinese gangsters show up, Trevor, who is still very much in an enraged state, would shoot Michael twice, this time actually killing him in, some would say, a fitting place, as he would literally die right next to what people were meant to believe was his gravestone. Okay, that's kind of dark. I don't know if I should have said that. Trevor would make a quick escape and the Chinese would find Michael, and he'd of course be there dead. However, unlike in the original, since of course Michael's dead, the Chinese Mafia of course couldn't even kidnap him because what? They're gonna kidnap a dead guy? Yeah, that just ain't gonna work. Therefore, Wei Chang couldn't really have anything to try to blackmail Trevor with. And on the phone, while Trevor is flying back to Sandy Shores Airfield, he wouldn't really hold back, and he wouldn't be as sarcastic as he is in the original. He would be more direct, if that makes sense. In short, he'd literally laugh in Chang's face and tell him to fuck off, not being aware of the fact that he just put a price on his own head. And after Trevor lands, he would of course move on to the Pac-Man mission, and just like in the original, he wouldn't say a damn thing to Franklin. And after the mission, Franklin would call Lester, and Lester would inform him that Michael's phone is in North Yankton, or the last sort of signal from Michael's phone was picked up in North Yankton at some point. Franklin would then meet Trevor and ask him about what really happened back there, and Trevor would have a full-on breakdown in front of Franklin and admit literally everything, saying that he did it in a fit of rage. And after Franklin finally knows the truth, he would call Lester to confirm that the worst case scenario is in fact true, and from this point on, Franklin would choose to distance himself from Trevor, because while he didn't do anything to him directly, after that interaction, he was still freaked out and kind of scared of Trevor, and understandably so, because knowing how unpredictable Trevor was, Franklin would essentially come to the conclusion that he was a ticking time bomb, and he would have no intentions of being around for the boom. However, Franklin also wanted to at least give some sort of closure to Michael's family, even though it's not the good kind of closure. It's kind of shitty if you ask me, but you also gotta remember that Michael's family, who were at this point still really angry at him, and they still didn't get back to his house, and they still didn't make up and all that. So Franklin didn't really know how they would react, but nonetheless, he'd contact Jimmy and literally tell him everything that he knows. And I also imagine that Franklin would promise him that he'll do his best to look after them, simply as a favor to his former partner and friend. Now, you might be wondering, well, did Michael's family call the cops? I would say no, because if they had, there's a chance that they could have been in trouble because of Michael's deal with Dave Norton. So ultimately, they decided that the best thing for all of them collectively was to sell the house and leave Los Santos behind once and for all, and get a overall fresh start. By the way, really quick, if you're enjoying this video right now, and if you're enjoying my content in general, please make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as we are trying to get to 1,500 subscribers by the end of this year. But what would be happening with Trevor during this time? Well, Trevor would, after confessing everything to Franklin, be a complete mess, because now the guilt started creeping up on him. And say what you want about this next part, but in the original, it is visible that even after everything between them, Trevor did care about Michael. And to add to that, because he killed Michael, he ultimately left his family, who really depended on him. And while yes, at this point in the game, it's more in a financial sense, but he still left them without Michael. So considering that he had such a good relationship that he did with his family, regardless of them being scared of him, he would never really hurt them per se. But regardless of everything that I just said, I think he still did feel tremendous amount of guilt, not only for killing Michael, but for more so probably for leaving his family without him. But Trevor would also have problems of his own as well. Wei Chang would literally be after him now, and one day Trevor would get a phone call from an unknown number with the person on the other line asking him to sell them some weapons. Trevor would arrange the deal and would on his own fly out in the middle of nowhere, let's say somewhere near Paleto Bay, to a beach, to make this deal. But little did he know, this was a setup by Wei Chang, and upon landing on a random beach, like I said, there would be an ambush with a bunch of Chinese gangsters waiting there for Trevor, and they would ultimately circle him. And Trevor, knowing instantly what this is, he would try to make a run for his plane, but there would simply be no way, and before he could even get to the plane, the giant squad of Chinese gangsters would start shooting at Trevor, and in a matter of just a few seconds, Trevor Phillips would be no more. As for the FIB side of things, of course, the wrap-up mission would never happen, Steve and Dave would never really confront Franklin to get rid of Trevor, and the same, of course, goes for Devin, Weston, and Michael, because he would, in the first place, he wouldn't even have that falling out with Michael, now that I think about it, because we would never get to that point in the game. So the only person that Franklin would really have to worry about in this alternate version would be Stretch, and after he tried to kill Lamar, Franklin would, without a second thought, contact Lester and ask for Stretch's whereabouts, not wanting to lose the one friend that he still has left. And a few hours later, Franklin would take care of Stretch, so in this version, only Franklin would really survive out of the main trio. And of course, do I even have to mention that the UD heist would never happen? I mean, that's kind of obvious. And I guess this goes to show how important Michael really is to GTA 5's story, as without him, as late as I did get rid of him in this version, a lot of things and a lot of big and crucial events towards the end would really never happen, or if they would happen completely differently when compared to the original. And with that said, I want to thank you for watching this video. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're enjoying my content and if you enjoyed this video overall. Until next video stream, thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.